Roadworthy Rescues, I put a Thunderbird back on the road after 30 years and make it look killer, and then that immediately happens to me. Last time on Roadworthy Rescues, you saw a guy trying to pull this Tbird from Texas to Tennessee with this old travelall. The guy found this really cool 1968 Ford Tbird way down in Texas, but it was physically stuck in this garage. The wheels were locked up. It was covered in dew. It was terrible. So we decided to get this old travelall, which also hadn't run in almost 30 years. It's running! Yes! Sounds terrible. Perfect! For this rig to go down the road, let alone tow something, I had to do some upgrades. Threw on a 4-barrel intake, 4-barrel carb, put in a water pump, fixed the ignition, and a few other doodads. Don't worry about that. The only thing this is going to pull is ex-wives. Oh, great. Got it fired up and literally drug the Tbird out of the garage. We might have hit a couple things, but mostly unscathed. Now, I'm trying to pull this Tbird 800 miles from Texas all the way back to Tennessee. So far, she's pulling great. Got no temp gauge, got no oil pressure, got no fuel gauge. Actually, I do have a fuel gauge. It's called, look, we're about half a tank. It was going really good until, well, it wasn't. Oh, something is terribly amiss. Yeah, let's pull off here. I got a lot of smoke in the cab. Now there's power steering and motor oil and transmission oil everywhere. Hey, good morning. Truck's doing great. Well, I said last night it was doing great. What I failed to mention was it's exploding oil out of every single thing that holds oil. Power steering line burst, sprayed it all over the manifold. Transmission pan is leaking. The oil has ejected everywhere, so I'm trying to dial that up this morning, figure that out. Gonna hook up the crankcase ventilation system, hopefully reduce the pressure in the block, and maybe eliminate some of that wanting to come out the top end. Oil-soaked air filter, that's okay. We used to do that back in the old days. Got air up a tire on the Tbird, and we're gonna hit the road. Kind of rainy, gloomy day, but that's okay. We're gonna get some nice sights in and just cruise. Have a good day at 55, 60. Call it 700 miles to go from Texas to Vice Grip Garage in Tennessee. Well, day 2 on the road so far is going very well. We're getting about 5.4 miles to the gallon. Nice. It handles great. The old Internationals. What a tow rig. But this has been a good trip so far. I hope it remains to be uneventful, i.e. the transmission stays in the truck. That'd be great. You gotta turn left when you brake. You gotta keep your head on a swivel. Sandals! You're speeding, sir! I gotta fix this mirror. That took me aback. The jam on the brakes, it built enough pressure where it must have blew a rear brake line. The rear pod is completely empty. But we've been traveling in rain all day, so everything is dripping and weeping right now. So that means we have to try to do brake line surgery right here, I guess. The good news is I didn't miss church this week. That's pretty cool. Midas eat your heart out. We got church brakes. Okay, front drums, shoes adjusted. They're theoretically automatic, but I can't back up and let them auto-adjust the late. So I spooned them out with the flathead screwdriver, so where they're slightly dragging. Now we'll have good front brakes again. Turns out we don't have a pop line in the back. We might have a weeping wheel cylinder, so I'm just going to bleed the master cylinder, plug the line back in, and top it off every time we get fuel. Okay, let's go. Well, good morning. Last night was an adventure. What a drive. Between poor visibility, my poor eyesight, no power steering, and flooded roads, you know, the Honda Maximuses were burning. But we made it in. However, this morning I did decide to go ahead and replace this wheel cylinder. Apparently after they sit for 30 years, if you double stomp it with size 13s, they just blow it out, you know. She's not looking so hot. And it'd be nice to have something with brakes, so we're gonna fix this up quick. Rebuilding, brand new, all that brake fluid. And then I can't remember how many miles left, 300 something, and then we'll finally make it back to Tennessee. Hopefully nothing else happens. If it ain't bread, leave it in the shed. International. We're getting like 5 miles to the gallon and we got a headwind today, so it's gonna be less, but we're headed to the Natchez Trace Trail. We got a few stops planned along the way. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully, fingers crossed, nothing else happens bad. I took a right turn to check the oil and ended up on a section line betwixt some row crops here. I did have the Tbird clean, but now it's probably full of mud. On the road again, about to go to Natchez Trace again. You know, when it comes to these old vehicles and reviving them, other than the history and story of the vehicle itself, my favorite thing is the journey home. And in this case, we're just now turning on the Natchez Trace, which boasts thousands of years of history. It's a 444-mile scenic drive that extends through 3 states, and American Indians have traveled on it. European settlers, traders, trappers, soldiers, presidents, you name it. And this highway closely follows the original path. I've never been on it. I heard it's breathtaking. It's got plenty of turns and ups and downs and vegetation and trees and you name it. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Might as well enjoy the trip. Oh, I like the speed limit too, 50. Right up our alley. Nacho Trail. I hope it has cheese and jalapeno. Some hamburger wouldn't hurt. And maybe some olives and onion. Oh, we made it. Bicycle Garage, South Central Tennessee, 800 miles. We found this international travel out in a backyard. It was sitting for almost 30 years. Got it fired up and hit the road. And not only did it drive 800 miles, it towed 800 miles. That Ford big block Tbird back there. Speaking of which, you're going to see that next. So stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun. was a very late night driving through the pouring rain. Well, pretty much rained the whole journey, but we actually made it here. And that in itself, in my opinion, is a massive win. We found the 68 Thunderbird sitting in a garage for almost 30 years, but it was just too disgusting to work on in that case. Now you can finally see in light how nasty this car is. It is terrible. I've been doing this for a couple decades now, and this one is up there. Oh, the wind is really kicking it up. So I think I'm just going to throw a mask on, get some gloves on, roll the floor mats up, and then I'm going to vacuum this outside and try to get that to just blow into the cattle up there. Sorry about that. Note to self, don't eat hamburger this year. Okay, so let's get the vacuum and just get to work here. Definitely want to be upwind. Basically the same rules for farts. Such a disturbing sound. That's how wet the carpet is. Hazard pay. This is how I die. This is exactly how I die. Oh. This was a terrible purchase. Completely full. Oh my gosh. I've heard that sound. Got a carcass. Oh, there went another one. We got 2 mice. I have never. This is worse than the Mustang, I think. How's your day going? Mine's a little duty. Sorry about that one. Anyway, now that we can stand next to this without carrying around an IV bag, let's fire up the pressure washer and see what the outside looks like. We're going to soak this whole thing down with your standard dish soap, let it sit for a minute, pressure wash it again, and then I might actually have to touch it with a rag or something. Ugh. That's wild. You see all the grease on it, it's just shedding right off like a wax job. There's a potato chip company I'm going to leave unnamed that made potato chips. And through the broken window that the raccoons came through, all that fryer grease kind of congealed and mixed with the urine and poo and made this layer here. But the hope is we want to uncover what is supposed to be a brand new paint job under this. Huh. Doesn't look like I did anything the last hour. Status report. It's now high noon, and the car looks exactly the same. Chemicals galore. Tried scrubbing it, pressure washing it. Whatever the potato chip raccoon combination is, it's stuck to this paint. How about this? Let's get it in the shed. Now let's just see if this thing runs, right? It like moves and stuff before we put 97 hours of labor into the paint. Although it would go on Craigslist well that way. Lots of receipts, could run. So I've already plugged off a vacuum leak. We borrowed permanently the vacuum check valve for the brake booster for the travel wall, which got us here. Looks like we got completed. We got lightning whirler in it. All the hoses are on. So we're just going to hit it with a hot battery. Luckily enough, Ford and Mopar have what's called a steel me junction. Essentially, we don't need a key to even fire this thing up. And since the key is on the dash on this, it doesn't even lock the steering wheel. So if a guy can get a hood open, boom, free Tbird. All I'm going to do here is jump power to the coil, and then I'm going to jump power from the battery to my start solenoid over here, and we'll be able to crank this thing over. That's pretty good, and then just a little splash. That was way too much. Bring in the thunders. Yeah. She's a runner. Valve train isn't clanking. Means it's probably making oil pressure. Water pump isn't froze up, none of that stuff. It's like it was shut off yesterday. Minus the missing and shaking and smoking and barely running. I was hoping that would be a lot harder because now I have to do something with the paint, don't I? Victorious! So here's the plan. I don't really have one, other than this has to get into the shop. We're west of Rusty Acres up here on Motor Mountain. We gotta aim for Valve Cover Valley. We don't know if it moves because we don't have a drive shaft and I'm not hitting the brake pedal. So, surfing in the USA! Oh boy, oh boy. Ain't nothing zip ties and vice grips can't fix. Left. Aha! Okay, now we're going to lift this up with the forks, and then I'm going to side shift it over onto the lift because we're about to fall off. I hooked my peepers onto the car. The trunk floor is absolutely gone, so we're not damaging anything, so just relax, okay? Ouch, my head. So I got my buddy here, Kevin Tates from Paint Education. He's been around collision, hot rods, custom builds, you name it, stuff like this. I'm hoping if anybody knows what to do, it's you with this vehicle. So here's the deal with this car. We found it in this old cinder block garage. Urine, fryer grease, 30 years of dirt and dust. We tried to power wash it and clean it and scrub it. We were told by this old man, I painted it fresh, parked it in the garage, and that was it. So I want to know, is it a fresh paint job? Is it the original color? And then see if we can bring it back, because I don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction and just say, well, let's just paint it again, or let's just clear it, or let's just leave it.
Well, the last thing you want to do is start throwing harsh stuff at it. What I always do is just do an inspection. If it's a good paint job, they're taking trim off, and they're going to put the trim back on after the paint. If it's a quick and dirty, they're taping stuff up, and they're working around it. So right here, you see this antenna bezel?
Yep.
You see the paint buildup there?
Oh, yeah.
Bam. There you go. Strike one. Right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, strike two. And in the door jambs, the seals are painted too.
Oh, everything.
Everything, the VIN numbers, all that type of stuff. So we know that maybe this was a drug running mule or something like that. And somebody ran it through a barn just like a Smokey and the Bandit and shot it real quick. So it's probably not the best quality paint. It's an aftermarket paint job, and that's fine. So we know what we're working with. Because of the way this looks, even through the dirt, I can see it's fairly glossy. It's a single-stage paint job over top of the original paint. So you're kind of winning on that level. And it's, for the most part, in pretty okay shape. So if we can revive this paint, you can probably make it look really good, Derek.
That's what I was looking forward to hearing. Yes. All right, show me how to clean this.
All right, so we're going to go least aggressive first. That's always the best thing. That way we're not doing any damage unless we have to. So I've got a citrus cleaner. There's a lot of different companies that have that. And citrus cleaners, if you know, I mean, they're really super strong. All right, let's see what that did.
Oh, yeah, that's way more gooder.
Wow. I mean, look at the contrast already. That's 30 seconds with a good cleaner on it. That gets us home. So now let's see how thick that paint is.
Okay.
Now, this is going to be a combination of the original paint and whatever else they put on it. Holy smokes. Okay.
Is that a good holy smokes?
That's a lot. Okay, so for instance, your average new vehicle has got 6 to 10 mils.
We've got 40?
Total film. We've got 44.72 mils. There's a lot of paint on there. It may have more than one paint job on it. Or it's super thick, or they put 5 coats on. My guess, we probably save to sand and polish if we have to.
Okay.
But before we clean it and sand it, all of it, let's see what we can do with the small spot. See if just polish will bring it up. This is my go-to for almost everything. It's aggressive, but it polishes out super smooth. It's kind of a one-step for me. So it's a water-based compound, which is really good. So I don't know about you,
Oh, wow.
but I can comb my hair in that. Within a few minutes, you've got a recipe to wake this thing up.
If the whole car looks like this, that's
Right.
pretty good. Well, thanks, man. I knew you'd be the guy to call. It sounds like we could make this thing shine, but I think first step is we should probably make it run and drive. We'll deal with this a little bit later. But, man, thank you so much.
No problem, man.
This has been great.
This is fun. I want to ride in this thing.
Did you smell it yet?
No.
Don't do it. Well, now that we know that it could potentially look really sharp and that this runs somewhat okay-ish, I think we go ahead and spend the time, dig into this engine and make it run a lot better. Now, we think this is a 460, fairly certain, based on the identification plate on the valve cover, and it's obviously a big block, but 460s didn't come in this year Tbird. So it's been swapped in from most likely a mid to late 70s truck motor, which would put out a whopping 200 some horse, let's be honest. However, they are fairly torquey motors. Nothing beats a big block in that aspect. But this stock style intake and this Motorcraft fuel make it happener, that's got to go. Here's an idea. What if we put a new performance dual plane intake on this and put a Holley Sniper on this thing and let it tune itself? And we'll get maximum horsepower, fuel economy, ease of starts, all of that. And then we'll obviously do an ignition tune-up. We'll put an HEI in it, dump the coil and points, put an exhaust system on this. We should have a tire-frying Ford big block. Or at least that's the idea. I'm going to start by taking the hood off, and then we've just got to thrash and get all of the garbly, gook, whatnots, and accoutrements off of this engine. Oh, I don't think that was right. I mean, so far, I'm enjoying this, gotta be honest. That's better. Oh my goodness. Corpus Christi. I'm gonna have to try to pluck all that out. This is oil from the 60s and 70s. It's a very high mile motor that has not been taken care of. So, we're going to try to take care of it. We're trying to get all the huge, giant chunks of stuff out of here because the lifter cups are just full of this junk. And I don't want to have one of these lifters go flat or something like that. These push rods and the lifters need to spin in these bores, and they ride on the cam lobe. This cam lobe here is a good example, only part of it's shiny because it actually has a taper on it, which makes that lifter rotate with the push rod. If that gets full of this gum and varnish and buildup, it's not going to move. And it's just going to smoke one of these lifters or a cam lobe. So I'm trying to flush all of this back into the pan, but I want this to get as clean as possible before we cover it back up with a shiny new intake. So guys been working away at this, and now it's bone dry. It is just, because brake clean dissipates quickly and dries up. So I'm going to use some of this valve train assembly spray, and this is typically used when you assemble an engine, but it helps against initial dry starts, which we're going to have here until it builds oil pressure again. There. Now intake time. What are you doing? Pretty good, Pat. That's why I keep them around. So here we've got a dual plane intake. This one's by Wyan. We'll be able to get our Holley Sniper up on this here. And it's still got the provision for the standard or factory throttle cable, so that's pretty nice. It's just got 74 different pipe plugs we got to plug up, but we'll do that down the road. So here we have a points distributor. So inside of here you can see the contacts or points. And as it rotates, it opens and closes. This is cool, it's great, it works, but we're going to be upgrading it to a GM style HEI or high energy ignition. And basically this has the coil built in, everything is right here. All we need to do is just hit it with 12 volts and bam, upgraded. So we should have a better, more consistent, more reliable spark. And we'll figure out timing later. Went ahead and put some new valve covers on, just decided to plop these on, they were cheap enough. Got our new intake on, and then our sniper, which is basically fuel injection, right? So we're gonna be able to maximize our horsepower, fuel economy, easy starts, and all of that stuff. This is a new sniper too. They actually moved the ECU in these. Instead of having it up front right next to the HEI, they've switched it around over here. I've been told it's taken care of the RFI issues sometimes that you would get with that. So now I just got to dig through this manual here, start figuring out, well, digicals. I don't like them. I'm going to have to figure it out though. Fade to black commercials. So our Tbird's got what we assume is a late 70s smogged out 460. They don't make a ton of horsepower. They do make some torque. So we're trying to snooze this thing up a little bit, hopefully turn it into a tire fryer. Guys had a really productive day. I'm feeling pretty good about where we're at with the rig. Fairly close to trying to fire this thing back up on EFI. Linkage is done. Vacuum lines are done. Vacuum line of the booster's in. Our ignition system is complete. We got lightning hoses, sparkulators in. We've got the lines run to the sniper as well. We've also got the new fuel tank, fuel straps, new fuel sending unit, fuel pump and fuel filter in the rear. Now I just need to run the lines up to the front of the car and plug her into the unit. Woo! That's hotter than Shania Twain in the 90s. How do I live without you? Just tell me. I want to know. So a guy's wiring up the Holly sniper up front here, and I'm to the point I need to find a 12-volt switched source. And to do that, you need a key. Found the key. Mark this one off the list. I don't like the fact that my head's so far into this car. Oh, by the way, had the seats sent off to get reupholstered because they were that terrible. They should be back soon. And that's good. You want new seats when your Tbird doesn't run. Wait, is this the first Roadworthy car with a key? That's pretty good. It's only season 3. It works. We have it. We have an ignition stick, and never mind. We had a spare. We have one key. It's pretty good. Come here, cat. I will not feed you if you do not come here. Fine. Well, little June bug. Time for exhaust. I've got my friend Chad here from Volunteer Muffler out of Cookeville, Tennessee. And we want to do true duals. This had some really neck-down exhaust with some old muffler, chambered kind of mufflers on it. We want it to be a little bit more loud, kind of a nice grumble tone at idle, but, you know, we feed the onions to her. We want it to be loud.
That's right.
And then I got some Black Widow, I think they're called neighbor haters. So we tried them on that Trans Am. They sounded pretty good.
They did. They sound really good on that car.
This is also low compression, high cube, so we should have a similar tone to that. It is going to completely transform the look of this car. While he's doing that, I'm putting the drive shaft back in so Chad can fit the exhaust. He's going to swoop down and then snug it in towards the drive pole, and then he'll come back out. But he needs us in here to check his clearances and stuff like that. Eric, can I borrow that 4-footer? Oh, hey, Schmidt. Yeah, there.
Jeez, thanks. We need a
Fuel pump.
nice.
Yeah. Good seeing you.
You too. I'll be on the other side of the partition.
All my screwdrivers are gone. Every tool's missing. Got no lights. Someone drank my Christmas coffee. Well, it was a busy day at the YouTube headquarters of Ice Cream Garage. We got this build going on here. You got Chad back there banging on the muffler machine. You got my friends over here in the other bay working on a pickup. You got Roadkill, Freiburg, and Spell working on a turbo Firebird Trans Am thing. There's a lot happening. You want to try it again and see if I got to do it one more time? Yep. We're going to lose the shop if we don't get this done. Somehow, some way, the Chad, the muffler man himself, has tweaked in some 2.5 exhaust pipes up and over, and we're just setting up the tip right now. You gotta have tips and jips, you know what I mean? Now instead of 1.5 water line hanging out the back, got real exhaust. That looks good, Chad. Great work. Thank you, sir. So, Chappelle and Freiberger have successfully installed a transmission. They're gonna see if it's gonna shift. This is one of those face finds. Rebuilt lots of receipts, you know.
Well, now that we broadcasted it, I think we're ready to, button it up and get out of here.
Thanks for having us.
Anytime. See you guys. Drive safe. No problem. Oh, it's got brake lights. Wow. Jeez. And I said one cookie. Don't leave a trail. I've never even tore it up this bad. This is pretty entertaining. That's about 15 bales down there. The inspection cover slamming on the torque converter sounds awesome. Well, you know it won't overheat. That's good. So Chad's all finished with the exhaust. That looks fantastic. I can't wait to hear that. I'm going to move on to this Holly and finishing it up so we can fire this thing up. Normally, we'd be doing the EFI handheld, which is a little 3.5-inch screen where you can enter a tune and monitor the system and all the vitals of the engine. But they have something new out. It's like a Bluetooth puck thing. I don't know. Apparently, you can run from your digital pocket computer device. So I'm going to throw that somewhere in the car, and we're going to tune this thing with our phone, and then we're going to be able to go through the paces, create a bass tune, and then it should fire. There's the fuel pump. Let it build a little pressure. Oh, Lord have mercy. Take this up. Take a peek. Yep. This is what happens when you're working on 3 vehicles at once. This is because of roadkill right here. All right? Paying attention to detail. Forgot where I was. And they owe me like 14 hay bales. I'm writing HR. See if it fires. Oh, look at that! Wow! It's already idling down. Look at that. Well, I was going to say adjust the timing, but then again, I put it in, so it's, you know. It's dialed. Oh! Just like that. Went from running like not good to yes. And very loud. Very, very loud. We might get a burnout out of this. She's charging. She's right at 13.5 air fuel. TPS or the IAX at 1, which is perfect. That means our throttle position sensor and how we have the idle set is right where the computer wants to see it. and it is currently learning. So the more it sits, the more it learns. The more you drive, the more it learns. It just gets smarter and smarter. Just like the mufflers suggest, my neighbors probably hate me now. I think that's going to do it for tonight. It runs, it's alive, but tomorrow we've got like brakes, and then we should probably check if it like shifts into gear and is going to move and stuff. And then, lastly, that stuff. Okay. Well, good morning. We're back on the Thunder Turd we found down in Texas. We pulled her back to Tennessee here, and we're going through this thing, trying to get it back on the road. Got it running late last night. Man, it sounds so good with the exhaust and the Holley Sniper on this thing. But we got one problem. There's absolutely no brake hardware, well, at least on this side. This wheel was locked solid when we pulled it out of the garage with the travel wall. So I'm gonna start going through the brakes. I at least need hardware here to see if the master cylinder is doing anything with the brake juice, and we'll go from there. Buckle up. This is another brake job. Woo! Oh, sesquicentennial. 200 years. That's not right. Is that 150 years? 8th grade, coming back. Now, it is time to tackle this. It's time to tackle this paint. I don't know what Kevin did. I scrubbed this roof until I almost caved it in, and then he just showed up and went, ooh, look, why am I here? That's great. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Citrus cleaner, rags, literal elbow grease, get all of this gross, yucky stuff off, and then start buffing. And while that's gonna happen, new windshield, because we can't see out of it, and it's also broken. As a reminder, this is a really potent mix of potato chip, fryer grease, raccoon and rat pee, and the very authentic 3-decade garage dust. So many people passed on this car this guy was selling. Super nice guy. But no one wanted this car because of how terrible it smelled and all of the feces and urine in the vehicle. And I just want to say for the record that they were smart. I was not. But listen, paint is clean. The paint is polished. And we got the windshield in. So now it's finally time to do something with the interior. Finished. Okay. Look at this beautiful 68 Thunderbird. There are so many people, well, rightfully so, that would have passed and did pass on this Tbird when I opened up that garage door. But I saw a ton of potential in this car. And as you can see, it is a qualified and certified going to town rig. We had to address the engine first off. It didn't run very good. We hopped it up with a 4-barrel intake, put a Holley Sniper 2 on it, addressed some of the belts and hoses and ignition and lightning hoses and sparkulators, new fuel system, fuel tank, sending unit lines, filters, and a digital pump to go along with that. We had to fix the brakes in the back. They got all new drums, shoes, hardware. We also put new soft lines in it. Speaking of stopping, we got these new 17s, and they look incredible. It really completes the look. It kind of John Wickish. Except I don't know how to, I just hurt my back actually on that one. Interior, boy, that was an absolute disaster, an unhealthy one. But look at it now. It's got new carpet, reupholstered front seats, looks great, and that's all it literally took. New windshield, and of course the paint. The guy was not barking up a tree. This is brand new paint that is now 30 years old. Terribly done, but man, after cutting it and buffing it, it absolutely shines and looks brilliant. And of course, the whole journey started by using that travel all on the hill to yank this thing out of the garage. We literally drug it into the street and then towed it 800 miles back here to Tennessee so we could start digging in. Now my favorite part. Let's go put this thing on the road. Have some fun with it. Sun's going down. First impression? Yes. 30 years this car sat in that little garage. And it's just too bad it was parked. It's actually not that bad other than the leaking brake booster you hear right now. Seems to ride decent. Ready? Ah! We didn't roll into the ditch. It's pretty good. I don't have an oil pressure gauge, which is probably good, but everything else is doing fine so far. Horn works. What else do you need? So many people would have passed on this thing, and it's a shame. I'm glad we could get it back on the road. It's a sleek car. Fun to look at. So far, really fun to drive. Not bad. Cows are heading for water already. Oh no! I did not make it far. Already hot. Oh boy. It's pretty sweet while it lasted. 3rd degree burns on my hand. Ouch. It's at least 290 degrees. So it's probably a bad water pump. Something similar. I am gonna let it cool down and drive it just a little bit farther because it's fun driving. And it looks great. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Roadworthy Rescues, but stay tuned, there's plenty more to save. Oh, and this does prove you can polish a turd.
Lights are flashing, bass is loud. Feel the rhythm, move with the crowd. Hands up high, body so close. Tonight's the night we lose control. Heartbeat racing, don't slow down. DJ spinning, feel the sound. No more worries, no more rules. Just let go and break the mood. Don't stop the music, turn it up. Let it hit, let it rush. Feel the fire, feel the heat. Lose yourself inside the beat. Don't stop the music, don't let go. Keep it loud, let it flow. One more dance, one more night. We'll keep it going till the sunlight. Neon dreams and midnight skies. Your body's moving, catching my eyes. Spin me round, take my hand. We'll dance until we can't stand. Heartbeat racing, don't slow down. DJ spinning, feel the sound. No more worries, no more rules. Just let go and break the mood. Don't stop